My name's Keanu, or some people call me Roman. I am 21 years old, and I'm here to talk about growing up and getting your life together and hope. Now, I'm young myself. I am 21, currently living with my girlfriend and attempting to find happiness in my life. I'm not somebody that normally opens up, if opens up at all. And the reason I'm making this video is to try to help an audience that is of younger age. Whether you're 8 years old, 16, 17 years old, or even if you're my age and you just don't have as much experience. I want to make this as raw as possible because this is my first video and I just want to be absolutely blatantly honest. There was once a moment in my life where I rushed to grow up. I couldn't wait till I was 13 years old, and then I couldn't wait till I was 16 years old. When I hit 16 years old, I was camping with my ex-girlfriend and her family, and I remember going to bed with headphones in my ears and being excited for my first day officially being 16 years old and getting a job. I woke up around 5, 6 a.m. to paramedics around me telling me that I had a seizure. Now, I thought I was dreaming, so I tried to go back to bed, but they forced me onto the stretcher, took me to the hospital. I felt like an animal. I felt like I had no control anymore of my life, which is one of the toughest things that I want to talk about more with people. As I was taken to the hospital, I had scans run on me. They couldn't figure out what it was, but they told me I possibly have epilepsy. And if you don't know what epilepsy is, which I'm sure probably 99% of you do, it's essentially a seizure disorder that causes you to seize due to chemical imbalancement in, I believe it could be either side of your brain. Now, I didn't want to believe it. I don't want to believe it at all. I went home and I was immediately treated like a child. I was put into constant care by my parents and my ex-girlfriend, and it drove me absolutely nuts. Had my second seizure on the 4th of July while leaving my ex-girlfriend's house to go to the lake to go fishing and see fireworks a couple hours away. Woke up again in the stretcher and started saying, no, not again. Now, to skip the story, I got put on a medication, but they still said they needed to figure out what's wrong with me because this is extremely abnormal. I had an MRI and an EEG ran on me, and they told my mother that I may have a brain tumor. And if it is what they think it is, it would be too late. Now, this story never gets easy to talk about. And my mom hid this information from me. And then when she told me, I felt a fear that I thought to myself, no 16-year-old, no one ever should have to fear. I felt like a tragic character, to be quite blatant, I apologize, I'm on a 16-hour shift right now, but to be quite honest, I felt like a tragic character And and I just thought to myself, I'm gonna lose, my parents are gonna lose me. Not I'm gonna lose them, they're gonna lose me. Everyone's gonna lose me. And it was my fear. I hated everybody. I went through a phase where I hated everybody. Then I found that it was just epilepsy, it's not cancer. It's not a brain tumor, whatever you want to call it. But for years I struggled with my seizures. And then eventually, I went through a heartbreak and all these things, and I turned 18 years old. Life just goes on. Life just went on is my point. I'm 21 years old now. I've been seizure free for 2 years. But this isn't my reasoning for making a video to talk about my seizures. It's to give advice to the younger kids and the younger people, because I feel like right now is a good time to say it, because I'm more in that age gap, within that age zone with you guys. I'm a Gen Z, I'm 2004. I'm about to be 22 years old in about 2 weeks, actually like a week and a half-ish. Like I said, I want to make this as raw as possible. Now, you have your parents, they want to spend time with you. You don't want to spend time with them, you want to be with friends, or you want to play games. I went through that, trust me. Spend time with your parents. Spend some time with your parents. Because your parents are only here for a certain amount of time. You're gonna make mistakes. That's a tough one that I learned, is you're gonna make mistakes. And if you spend too much time obsessing over not making mistakes like I have, then you're gonna try to be this antique of a person. But that person that you are is gonna be made of glass. Glass is fragile. You need to make mistakes. Don't intentionally make mistakes, but you need to make mistakes so you can learn from those mistakes. You have a dream, protect it. I have a dream. I have many dreams. You know how many people all the time I feel like, put me down with my dreams? And I'm not gonna lie, I am giving advice, but all the time I feel like giving up. I feel like giving up the dream, my dreams, whatever. Protect your dream. Surround yourself with good people. Phases are phases. People come and go. Another good piece of advice I have is for relationships, and that is don't ever degrade yourself for somebody else. Don't ever stay in a relationship because you're trauma bonded. You can't love somebody else if you don't love yourself first. I promise you, and when I mean it, I promise you that is the truth. Loving somebody else, if you don't love yourself, is difficult because you develop an obsessive personality. Where are they? What are they doing? You have your own insecurities dump onto the other person. Listen, I've been cheated on. I was in a very emotionally abusive relationship, both ways. I was as well emotionally abusive. I went from relationship to relationship because I couldn't handle being by myself. Now, making this video is also to make myself feel better and to be truthful with you. I'm not the happiest in my life right now. But if I can make at least one person watch this full video and have some sort of critical thought and think to themselves, wow, he's right, then that'll make my day. That'll make me. Because I like to help people and give people advice, even if I don't take it myself. Go to the gym. Be healthy. Be consistent. Fear, I forget who said it, but fear is the biggest enemy. Fear is what stops you from asking out that person, doing your hobby. That fear of embarrassment is what stops you. Don't let it. You have a sibling, don't hold a grudge, because the older you get, the more you're gonna want the sibling around, and you both are gonna be busy. You both are gonna be older and not have time for each other. Love one another. Tell your parents you love them daily. The amount of near-death experiences I've had, and in the moment thinking, what if I don't get to tell my mom, my dad, my girlfriend that I love them, is insane. I was shot at because I was, what's it called? It's not that I was at the wrong place, but there was a shooting. I was shot at twice. Once I was in Hollywood at a party, and there was a drive-by shooting, and I was there, but I hid. The second time was with my girlfriend. We were driving down the street, and some teens got into it, and they started shooting through a car. And I thought they were shooting at us, but no matter what, we were kind of in the fire. Another thing I really want to talk about, like I was saying, mental health. Mental health is something I've struggled with my whole life. I grew up with a lot of domestic violence in the house. I wasn't physically abused, but in my opinion, I was extremely mentally abused. In my opinion. Now, do I lie down and want to be a victim and want to contribute all my failures in life due to that? Absolutely not, but sometimes I can't help but do it. Sometimes I can't help but do exactly that. And it makes me sick when I do that, because I don't want to do that. Sometimes it slips out. It's a mistake. But it teaches me to not make the mistake again, but I keep doing it, which is something I just need to extremely hardly work on. If you feel something's wrong, people will say, oh, reach out to a loved one, reach out to a loved one. And the issue with that is a lot of loved ones might not take it as serious. Figure out what it is that's upsetting you so much. Is it your environment? Is it your school? Is it your friends? Is it your partner? I don't know if I already said that, but whatever it is. The biggest, like I was talking about self-healing, figure out, and if you can't figure it out, call up a therapist, call up a psychiatrist. There's absolutely somebody that you can reach out to help you out. Now, I was diagnosed with a couple stuff I'd rather not speak about that apparently I had my whole life, according to a doctor I spoke to, mental health wise. There was a couple stuff I was diagnosed with, and it made me understand, okay, well, now it makes sense as to why I've been the way I have been my whole life. But another piece of advice I want to give to younger people out there is, please, and I beg of you, please, do not use your mental health issues as an excuse to do whatever it is that you want to do. If you're diagnosed with epilepsy like I am, don't go around pissing people off and saying, oh, I'm epileptic. Or don't be lazy and then say it's because I'm epileptic. Don't do that. You can embrace it, but you also sometimes gotta fight it. Fight the impulse, fight the urges. Don't let it be who you are, is what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to think. And career-wise, I don't really have any advice because I'm still figuring that. I'm an armed guard, as well as an MMA fighter. A kickboxer, MMA fighter. I like to do all that. I don't really have a career per se. Maybe one day I'll make a video on that if I figure it out. one important thing I also really want to speak to you about is happiness. I feel as if I figured out a key to happiness, but I'm not there yet. People ask, is happiness about money? Is happiness about being financially free? Is happiness about religion? Is happiness about internal peace? Is happiness about having a family even if you don't have money? And the question is, I think happiness is defined by you, yourself. I see people who have all this money and have, 6 houses and jets and stuff, and I think to myself, if I had that kind of money, to be honest, I would probably live in a penthouse. I'd probably just live in a 2-bedroom because I don't like all that room. I don't want to maintain it. I don't need much. I'm happy with, if I have a gym set, if I have, if I have my motorcycle, if I have my car, if I have, maybe a few cars that I want, it's about, like I said, what makes you internally happy. Money makes you happy, then chase it. If having a family makes you happy, chase it. But I promise you, at 16 years old, you're not going to know what true happiness is. You're not going to know what it is. I can tell you what happiness definitely isn't, and that's constantly needing validation. It's hurting others, being manipulative. Sporadic moments, I'd say, is a big one. Whatever makes you happy, do it, though. If you want one child, if you just want enough money to live, then that's happiness for you, and you should achieve that. Not everybody needs to be rich. Not everybody needs a family. For the love of God, some people shouldn't have kids. Sometimes I say that my parents shouldn't have had me, but I'm here. And I thank God that I'm here every day. It's difficult sometimes, but I do it. I feel as if I was put here to definitely face some challenges. I don't think I was put on this earth with an easy mode on. I don't want to say if you knew what I went through, because I don't like speaking like that, but if you knew what I went through, then you would possibly understand why I feel that I was put on this earth to just fight challenges, fight issues. Well, if there's anything anyone needs, I will reply to comments, even if there's just one comment. Reach out to me. You can reach out to me on Instagram. It's at fuck.its.roman, ROMAN, fuck.its.roman. Reach out to me anytime. Anytime you can reach out to me, I'll speak to anybody. Even if I can't understand your problem, I could try to make through with it. Good luck to everybody with everything. If you want more videos, I'd be happy to. First person that gives me an idea, if it's not something stupid, then I'll do it. Find hobbies too. But thank you if you watched to the end. I hope there's no ads, but have a good one, man. And talk to some people if I can. Bye.